This is section 6.3, finding confidence intervals, and I want to go ahead and tell you that you can find another problem like this one in this section, example 4, and it's about determining a minimum sample size. How many samples do you need to have a decent proportion? And so you can look at that one also, but this one says you're a travel agent and wish to establish with 95% confidence the proportion of vacationers who plan to travel outside the U.S. in the next 12 months. Your estimate must be accurate within 3% of the true proportion. The first one we're going to do it and going to have a preliminary estimate. So I'm going to show you what you do when you don't have a preliminary estimate. The first thing you do is you always let P hat be 50%, which is 0.5. And then you're going to need a Q hat, so 1 minus 0.5 is also 0.5, which is 50%. So anytime you're not told, you know, anything else about the problem and you don't have a preliminary estimate, you always use 50%. Because the problem states that you want a 95% confidence interval, what you're going to do here is you're going to get a critical value from the back of the book in table 4, which is the normal standard table, and you'll look that up. You'll find that down in the bottom of the table, and it's 0.96 is your Z critical score. E is going to be 3% or 0.03 because I'm told that to get a true proportion it needs to be within 3%. So here's my formula that I'm going to use, and I'm just going to substitute P hat, Q hat, and my other numbers in here, work it out, and I'm going to find out that I need 1,068 vacationers. I've got to talk to that many to be able to have a 95% confidence. So now we're going to take a look at the same problem, but we're going to be given a preliminary estimate. And the preliminary estimate is that 26% of the respondents said they plan to travel outside the U.S. So I already know that about 26% are going to be traveling. So I'm going to use the same formula. I'm going to put the numbers in the same way. So there's my confidence interval. 95% is going to be 0.96. I want at least a 3% estimate to get a true proportion, and so I substitute those numbers in, and this time I get about 822 vacationers. And that's quite a difference, because if I was trying to save money and save time, I'm talking to 200 less people than I am there. So it's always nice if you have a preliminary estimate to be able to use it. The last part says compare the results from parts A and B, and that's what I just said. Having an estimate of the proportion reduces the minimum sample size needed, so I wouldn't have to question nearly as many people if I can have a preliminary estimate.